Hi everyone. This is the beginning of a tutorial series. We are going to create a CRM system. Using the Django framework with Python, right? So, lesson one: what is Django, right? So, this is for complete beginners. What is Django? So Django is a Python framework that makes it easier to create websites or web applications using Python, right? Basically, Python is the back-end language, so it's gonna allow us to handle user requests. So Django takes care of the difficult stuff so that you can focus on building your web applications. So there is a lot going on when you create websites, but then with Django, you are able to. You don't need to do a lot of work, unnecessary work. Most of the things are automated, and then we have Django emphasizes reusability of components, also referred to as dry, which is don't repeat yourself, right? We know that the fundamental rule of computer science, it tells us that we don't have to repeat ourselves. This is very, very important. So it comes with ready-to-use features such as the login system, the database connection, create, update, delete operations, right? So how does Django work? Django follows the MVT design pattern. We have what we call the MVT, right? Which is model, view, template, right? So these two are in Python. Python is with these two, and then this one it's HTML actually. But then you can use JavaScript, you can link JavaScript, CSS, to make your pages more dynamic and more creative, right? So we have modal, data you want to present to the users in the front end. So modal, in modal.py we can create tables, right? Tables for our database, and then we can transfer those models, and then what Django does is gonna take our fields and groups, is gonna take them into SQL. So Django by default it has SQLite, So we have view, a request handler that returns the relevant template and content, right? So the view is more like its functions, right? Based on the request from the user, right? We have the template. We know that if we return something in Python, we are dealing with a function. Template, a text file like HTML containing the layout of the web page with logic on how to display data, right? And then we have what is the front end and back end. The front end is the user interface, meaning is what the users see on the browser. That is the front end, right? You remember that part of template. So the template, we render our template on our views, right? Basically our template is an HTML file, but then we need static files that will make our template more dynamic. So the back end is where Python is going to play a bigger part, basically for connecting the front end to the database, right? So a website it's possible to create a website using only HTML. That is possible, but then it's gonna be a problem when you have to track your users, or to to authenticate your users, to make your website more secure, to create the APIs, it's gonna be a problem. So Python is gonna help us connect our back end, our front end to a database, right? The controller is the link between the front end and the back end. So basically the controller is what enable the back end and the front end. So in the front end, the users, they have requests, right? They have a series of requests, and then the controller is gonna inform the back end, right? So that they perform the tasks according to the request made by the users. So yeah. So the first thing you will need to do, you'll have to install pip with the command pip install Django, right? I already installed it, as you can see. So you will have to install Django, and then after you have installed Django, that is when you can start creating your project. So the first step, we're gonna create our project, and then our project name, we're gonna name it CRM, right? So it's gonna be Django admin startup CRM, right? So this is not startup, start project, right? And then we call it CRM. So this is the command for creating a project, right? And then we go to that project with the command CRM, cd CRM, right? So our project has this file which is called manage.py. This file is very, very important, and you don't have to do anything to this file, because this file is gonna enable us to run a server, it's gonna enable us to migrate our models, it's gonna enable us to do a lot of things, right? So you will see as we commence through the series, right? So now we're gonna say we're gonna create our application, right? So we're gonna say Django, we're gonna say Python. Now we can use this command, Python manage.py. Then we're gonna say start app. We name our app, we can call it manager, right? So as you can see that we have to first go cd CRM, right? Because we're gonna use this file, actually this manage.py file here. So that's why we go to CRM, and it will enable us to use this Python, this functionality, right? There is a function or a model or a code that is called start app, right? Which will enable us to start an app, right? So we start our app manager. So as you can see, we have our app here, which is called manager, below our project, and then within our app we have modals. We have, you remember we spoke about modals. So this is where we're gonna create our database, and then here this is where we're gonna render our templates. We also need to, Django doesn't create this file for you, but we have to create it for ourselves, which is urls.py, right? urls.py, right? So you have models, you have views, you have urls.py. So these are very important files, right? But then before we create our project, before we proceed with creating our project, we have to go to CRM, which is our project name, and then we go to install the apps, everything that you almost everything that you do with pip, that you install with pip. You have to mention it here. We need to inform our Django. We need to inform Django that we have this app installed, right? And then yes, so here, this is where we're gonna configure. So you need to be aware, like you need to be good at looking at folders. So the CRM, this is the main folder, right? This is the main folder. Everything that happens here, we have to configure it here. Like this is the brain of our project, right? The URLs, these are the main URLs, but then we will have to connect our URLs to these ones, right, from our app. So you need to take into consideration that everything that is inside CRM is more important. It's more like the brain, right? The brain, building blocks of what we are actually creating, right? Yes, I think for this lecture we end here. See you in the next one.